This isn't just fan translation. This is not a meme. This actually happened after IGN France released a disgruntled article that they had to apologize for, where they basically implying that Stellar Blade is killing women. I gotta say, I genuinely do not see the difference of the 90s from the Christian Americans, like the extremist radicals that were thinking violent video games cause violence, and the atheists right now, because I can guarantee to you the people with these hot takes are atheists. And the only difference is that the atheists are fart sniffing. Like, they believe that they have the science behind them. They believe that because it comes from the academia, it went through the scientific experiment. So, yes, like, they genuinely think that a video game that has a beautiful female character in it is actually killing women, right? So, of course, if you think that, then you must believe that it is your duty to censor it. It is your duty to protect the public. And I guess he might also think that all the women in the world are going to recreate that scene from Game of Thrones where they carry the French journalist on top and go like Misa, Misa, kind of like that. But the reality is that South Korea is now dunking on the French journalists, and they're basically pointing out like, look, I don't know what the university did to you. I don't understand what's going on in France culture. But most human beings throughout time at the age of 3 can differentiate between fact and fiction. Like, people can watch something and understand that it's fictional and create a disconnect between that and the real world. Because this is what we've been discussing. Like, most of the woke ideology can have like various differences. Like, you can have a woke environmentalist or someone that's woke and believes in identity politics and stuff. But what they have in common, what all of them have in common, is this very deranged notion of groupthink, where you are told what to think, and it's irrelevant if you agree with it or not. You gotta say it. Like, you gotta speak the speech, because otherwise your friends are going to leave you, you get ostracized, you get kicked out of the industry. Like, bad things happen, right? So it doesn't matter if what you're saying sounds batshit insane. You have to say it. And what happens, because I spoke with a lot of people that have been woke and then deconverted, is that at some point your mind doesn't even question things. Like, you just parrot them. Like, your friends say them, so you parrot them, because it gets tiresome, and it's also harmful to actually consider if everything that you're saying is true or not, right? So when they're saying like these video games are hurting women, they don't even get it through the thought process anymore. They don't even think about it. And, of course, like, this line of thinking is very good for grifters, because there are certain people that don't believe it, but they create consultancy groups and they make tens of thousands of dollars a month just by doing this shit, right? Like, by giving the man jaw to every single female character that comes up in a Western video game. So, like, for them, it's a grift. Like, they make money out of it. But there are, like, certain individuals that genuinely think it's like, okay, so women in the world are going to suffer major depression because men are going to play Stellar Blade, and the men are going to be so attracted, so enamored to that fictional character that they're going to start ignoring real life women, which are going to go through depression, they are going to go through self-harm, and all of this can be prevented if we just censor the game. Like, if we just step in right now, we enlightened ones, we anointed ones, and prevent the millions of people that want to buy the game from getting it, then we can actually cause good in the world. Like, unironically, this is the madness. Like, this is the level of insanity that these people are allowed to think. And they're allowed because no one has stopped them up until now, but you get to see many individuals just mocking and ridiculing them in the comment section, which is what should have happened. And you get to see South Korea itself mocking and ridiculing the journalists in France, which unironically should have happened in the West. Like, you should have had these AAA companies just mocking and ridiculing the culture critics. But because they were afraid, because they didn't speak out at the time, now they got corrupted by these organizations. And, like most of the AAA is kind of similar to Twitter. Like, if you actually follow the Twitter files, Elon Musk fired 80% of its staff. 80% from a company, right? Like, those people got wages. Those people were paid. Those people took the customers' money. And Twitter still functions today with 20%. It's literally the same stuff in the AAA industry. It's the same stuff. Like, you got all of this bloat, all of these activists, which are now making games cost $70. And on top of that, you got like 20 or 30 DLCs. Meanwhile, Stellar Blade is already printing out action figures, which I'm pretty sure people are very interested in buying, right? Like, you can't do that with Abby. You can't do that with Western female characters. No one buys them. So instead, they gotta churn out like 25 DLCs for the game because they don't have attractive characters that people want to purchase and have a keychain with it or have a t-shirt with them. It's just awful business practices. Just completely awful. Now what I noticed, that this is interesting, when I posted this on my Twitter, there were some very bizarre individuals, some weirdos, basically contacting me and saying, oh, if you like Stellar Blade for the jiggle physics, that's gross, that's creepy. And I'm like, are you insane? Men liking women is creepy and gross? What planet do you come from? Are you a Zoomer? Are you an American leftist by any chance? Are you a Democrat? Like, who thinks like this? Who radicalized you? Who indoctrinated you in order to believe that a man liking the female aesthetic is weird or gross? And by the way, I don't give a flying fuck at the end of the day. I don't play video games in order to get public acclaim. And most American video games, they have gore in them, right? Like, you got dismemberment and over-the-top violence and toilet humor and Rick and Morty jokes. But for some reason, that's fine, right? Like, all the LGBT stuff in the video games, like, that's just perfectly normal. But you draw the line at a female character with jiggle physics. Like, that is just way too much for the American brain. That just shocks you. Like, the very fact that these people are coming out in public and expressing these bizarre takes, it's like, oh my god, this is a mature game and it's got jiggle physics. That's gross. That's disgusting. Meanwhile, the Baldur's Gate bear sex scene, oh, that is funny. That is excellent. I don't know what to say. I mean, again, an entire generation completely radicalized and subverted by the American academia. Like, the process has to start somewhere. People need to start de-radicalizing these individuals, helping them, because they need help. They need help to understand the difference between fiction and reality. And it's also interesting because you get to see that they're manipulated. Like, you get to see that they're indoctrinated because they do not apply the same standards to the music industry. The music industry is just like big fat tits and asses everywhere. And they have no problem with that, right? Like, if someone likes a Cardi B video for the tits and the ass, that's fine. Just don't have it in a video game. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why do you allow other people to control you like this? Why do you allow other people to dominate your mind in this way? Because normal people who come up to their own conclusions, they have standards and they would apply it equally. Like, a religious person that believes in Jesus and thinks that sexuality is wrong will criticize the music industry and the gaming industry. But if you see people only criticizing the gaming industry, especially only the Asian industry, you're being manipulated by someone. You're playing someone's game. Why are you doing this? Anyway, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.